Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President and CEO of the George W. Bush Presidential Center, Ken Hirsch.
Freedom, opportunity, accountability, and compassion. These values form the foundation of President and Mrs. Bush's public service and the core of our work here at the Bush Center as we engage communities in the U.S. and around the world by developing leaders, advancing policy, and taking action to address today's most pressing challenges. We're here on an important day in American history. 9/11 was not just an attack on the brick and mortar of New York and Washington, D.C. It was a calculated, premeditated attack on our freedom, on our way of life, that the terrorists felt threatened by. Until that moment, many of us took our freedom for granted. President Bush committed to defend it. Leadership is revealed during unscripted moments. When President Bush woke up on that morning 20 years ago at the Colony Beach and Tennis Club in Longboat Key, Florida, and went for a run at 6:40 a.m. before his event at the Emma Booker Elementary School in Sarasota, I bet the last thing that he thought his day would be about was that the U.S. would be attacked, the World Trade Centers would come down, the Pentagon would be on fire, and his would be the only plane in the sky. Yet throughout it all, he led. On that day, he was a president, a commander-in-chief, a husband, a son, a father, and a friend. When we execute on our leadership programming here at the Bush Center, we forward the need for this principled leadership with a true north of defining values, a leadership style which President Bush exemplified and which served him so well on that unscripted day. Welcome to a very special edition of Engage at the Bush Center, presented by Highland Capital Management. We are deeply grateful for tonight we come together to reflect on the attacks that took place 20 years ago, a day in which 2,977 people lost their lives and our way of life was permanently changed. Thank you to our board members and the members of our advisory councils who are here tonight. Unfortunately, our board chair, Don Evans, couldn't be here with us tonight. But that day was special for him as well. On 9/11, Don was Secretary of Commerce. And following the attacks, he was sent to a secure location with the rest of the cabinet. After several hours, the members of the cabinet were allowed to leave, all except Don. Don remained there for a few days as the designated survivor. He tells this very compelling story from his perspective in the latest episode of the podcast series, The Strategist, here at the Bush Center, which I highly recommend. We also welcome Claire Buchanan Parker. Claire was President Bush's Deputy White House Press Secretary on 9/11, where she spent the day working out of the Situation Room. She assisted the filmmakers in securing the interviews you'll see in the documentary tonight, and was a big help in coordinating this event. Claire, glad you're here. President Bush ran for office on a domestic platform: education, immigration reform, and lower taxes. Less than 8 months after taking the oath of office, however, 9/11 redefined his presidency. Apple TV Plus filmed this documentary, 9/11, Inside the President's War Room, about the first 12 hours after the attack. You will relive the transformation of President Bush into a wartime commander-in-chief. The film is extremely powerful, and we're grateful to the team at Apple Film Plus and the filmmaker Adam Wishart for their work on the documentary and their assistance with tonight's program. The interview with President Bush featured took place last February. This morning, President and Mrs. Bush returned to the 9/11 memorial site at Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where he spoke to the nation and reminded us of our shared American values. In case you missed it, here's a glimpse from this morning.
After 9/11, millions of brave Americans stepped forward and volunteered to serve in the armed forces. The military measures taken over the last 20 years to pursue dangers at their source have led to debate. But one thing is certain: We owe an assurance to all who have fought our nation's most recent battles. Let me speak directly to veterans and people in uniform. The cause you pursued at the call of duty is the noblest America has to offer. You have shielded your fellow citizens from danger. You have defended the beliefs of your country and advanced the rights of the downtrodden. You have been the face of hope and mercy in dark places. You have been a force for good in the world. Nothing that has followed, nothing, can tarnish your honor or diminish your accomplishments. To you and to the honored dead, our country is forever grateful. The weeks and months following the 9/11 attacks, I was proud to lead an amazing, resilient, united people. When it comes to the unity of America, those days seem distant from our own. Malign force seems at work in our common life that turns every disagreement into an argument and every argument into a clash of cultures. So much of our politics has become a naked appeal to anger, fear, and resentment. That leaves us worried about our nation and our future together. I come without explanations or solutions. I can only tell you what I've seen. On America's day of trial and grief, I saw millions of people instinctively grab for a neighbor's hand and rally to the cause of one another. That is the America I know. At a time when religious bigotry might have flowed freely, I saw Americans reject prejudice and embrace people of Muslim faith. That is the nation I know. At a time when nativism could have stirred hatred and violence against people perceived as outsiders, I saw Americans reaffirm their welcome to immigrants and refugees. That is the nation I know. At a time when some viewed the rising generation as individualistic and decadent, I saw young people embrace an ethic of service and rise to selfless action. That is the nation I know. This is not mere nostalgia. It is the truest version of ourselves. It is what we have been and what we can be again. 20 years ago, terrorists chose a random group of Americans on a routine flight to be collateral damage in a spectacular act of terror. The 33 passengers and 7 crew of Flight 93 could have been any group of citizens selected by fate. In a sense, they stood in for us all. The terrorists soon discovered that a random group of Americans is an exceptional group of people facing an impossible circumstance. They comforted their loved ones by phone, braced each other for action, and defeated the designs of evil. These Americans were brave, strong, and united in ways that shocked the terrorists, but should not surprise any of us. This is the nation we know. And whenever we need hope and inspiration, we can look to the skies and remember. God bless.
And now it's my honor to introduce the man who took a stand to defend us and did not tire, did not falter, and did not fail. Please welcome the 43rd President of the United States.
Thank you very much. Lauren, I thank you all for coming tonight. You know, one of the real dangers of time is that it dulls memories. And here at the Bush Center tonight, we hope your memories stay sharp, because the lessons of 9/11 are as relevant today as they were 20 years ago. One of the remarkable things about 9/11 were the first responders who came to New York City, the first responders in New York City, many of whom rushed into the burning buildings, uncertain as to what their future may be. Tonight we've got such first responders here, and if they don't mind, would you please stand? Yeah. Okay, thank you all. Two Texans went up to New York, and Ron Parker, right there in the front. He's a New York firefighter, and I was on the pile with Bob Beckwith with the megaphone that didn't project very loudly, evidently, because I hear this voice behind me that goes, "Louder!" It was Parker. I turned to him and said, "This is as loud as it goes." But thankfully, he started this movement where people started screaming, "We can't hear you," and I just blurted. And it's just one of those weird moments where it kind of caught on. And you know what, I was just feeling the resolve down there in the pit. New York City was not going to allow a bunch of thugs to bring that city to its knees. And Parker was part of the crowd there. It's great to see all three of you here tonight. Laura and I are looking forward to watching the film. I haven't seen it yet. I hope it's good. Otherwise, it's kind of a weird invitation. At any rate, thank you all for coming, and God bless.